Echoes in the void. Captain Vela stared at the warning lights cascading across the control panel. The Stellar Dawn, pride of the Korthani scientific fleet, had served faithfully for 15 years. Now, in the most remote corner of Sector 9, she was dying. Status report, Vela commanded, her four arms moving in the graceful patterns that characterized Korthani body language. Her crystalline skin, normally a healthy amber color, had dulled to worried bronze. Chief Engineer Corvus emerged from the engine compartment, his tentacle-like appendages coated in coolant fluid. The quantum drive core has fractured, Captain. The dimensional stabilizers are failing. We're losing containment. The bridge fell silent. Every Korthani present understood what this meant. Without the quantum drive, they were trapped in deep space, light years from the nearest inhabited system. Can we repair it? Vela asked, though she already knew the answer. Corvus shook his triangular head. The core crystal is shattered. We would need specialized equipment found only at a major shipyard. Our fabricators cannot replicate something so complex. Navigator Thessa spoke up from her station. Captain, I've calculated our position. We're approximately 7 light years from the nearest Korthani outpost. At conventional speeds, it would take. She paused, her calculations causing her skin to flicker with distress. 300 years to reach help. Dr. Nexon, the ship's chief scientist and medical officer, floated closer in the low gravity. Our supplies will last 6 months at most. The recycling systems can only do so much. Vela felt the weight of command pressing down on her. 23 souls depended on her decisions. 23 brilliant minds who had volunteered for this exploration mission, trusting her to bring them home. Begin broadcasting our distress signal on all frequencies, she ordered. Use every communication protocol we know. Someone might hear us. Communications Officer Drexo worked her console with desperate efficiency. Signal broadcasting, Captain. But at this distance from shipping lanes, the probability of detection is... She couldn't finish the sentence. I know, Vela said softly, but we must try everything. Days passed. The crew worked tirelessly to extend their resources. They shut down all non-essential systems, lowered the temperature, and rationed food. The once bright corridors of the Stellar Dawn grew dark and cold. Corvus and his engineering team attempted repair after repair. They cannibalized parts from other systems, trying to jury-rig solutions. Nothing worked. The quantum drive required precision beyond their current capabilities. Captain, Corvus reported after another failed attempt, I've tried every possible configuration. The drive core is beyond salvation. However, I might be able to boost our conventional engines slightly. It won't get us home, but it could move us closer to traveled space routes. Do it, Vela ordered. Any improvement was worth pursuing. The modified engines managed to push the Stellar Dawn at a marginally faster rate, but the calculations remained grim. They were still centuries from rescue. As supplies dwindled, the crew's mood darkened. The Korthani were a social species, drawing strength from their connections. In the isolation of deep space, cut off from their homeworld's psychic network, they began to suffer. Dr. Nexon monitored the crew's health closely. Captain, I'm seeing signs of deep space syndrome. Without connection to the homeworld's consciousness web, our people are experiencing psychological distress. Depression, anxiety, and in some cases, hallucinations. Vela herself felt the emptiness. The absence of the gentle background hum of millions of Korthani minds was like losing a vital sense. In its place was only the cold silence of the void. We need to make a decision, she announced during a crew meeting. Our stasis pods can preserve us for approximately 100 years. It's our only chance of surviving until rescue. Young scientist Zarek spoke up. But Captain, what are the odds someone will find us? Even in stasis, we're gambling everything on an impossibility. The alternative is certain death within months, Dr. Nexon stated flatly. In stasis, we at least have hope, however small. Vela looked at each crew member. These were her responsibility, her family in space. We'll put it to a vote. All in favor of entering stasis. One by one, hands rose. The decision was unanimous. They would trust their fate to the cosmos. Over the next week, the crew prepared for their long sleep. They recorded messages for loved ones, documented their research, and said their farewells. The ship's computer was programmed to maintain basic functions and continue broadcasting the distress signal. "The pods will wake us if rescue arrives," Dr. Nexon explained as he calibrated the systems. "Otherwise, we'll sleep until the power fails or someone finds us." Vila was the last to enter stasis. She walked the empty corridors one final time, checking every system, ensuring everything possible had been done. In the dim emergency lighting, the stellar dawn felt like a tomb. Standing before her pod, she spoke into the ship's log. "This is Captain Vila of the Corthany research vessel Stellar Dawn. We have entered stasis following catastrophic drive failure. If you find this message and we still live, please help us. If not, please inform the Corthany Council of our fate. We did not surrender to the darkness. We chose hope." The pod sealed around her. Consciousness faded as the preservation systems engage. The Stellar Dawn drifted silent through the cosmic dark, its faint distress beacon the only sign of life aboard. 3 months later, halfway across the galaxy, Captain Sarah Chen of the human exploration vessel Pioneer's Hope frowned at her communications display. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," Lieutenant James Park reported. "It's using an encryption pattern I don't recognize." Sarah moved to his station. Humans had been exploring space for 2 centuries, making contact with a dozen alien species. Each first contact brought new challenges and opportunities. "Can you decode it?" she asked. Park worked for several minutes. "It's definitely a distress signal. The mathematical structure suggests high intelligence. This isn't random." "Origin?" Sarah inquired. "Approximately 18 hours away at maximum speed. It's well outside normal trading routes." Sarah made her decision quickly. "Helm, set course for the signal source. All departments prepare for possible first contact scenario." The Pioneer's Hope was designed for deep space exploration. Her crew of 40 represented humanity's best and brightest. They had trained for situations exactly like this. As they approached the signal source, the ship's sensors painted a picture of an elegant vessel drifting powerless through space. Its design was unlike anything in human databases. "I'm reading minimal power signatures," reported Commander Michael Torres from the science station. "The ship appears to be running on emergency systems only." "Wait, I'm detecting life signs. Very faint, possibly in some form of suspension." Sarah felt the familiar mix of excitement and caution that came with potential first contact. "How many?" 23 individuals. Their biology is unlike anything we've encountered. Silicon-based, possibly. The readings are unusual." "Any response to our hails?" Sarah asked communications. "Negative, Captain. Their systems might be too damaged to receive or respond." Sarah studied the alien vessel on the main screen. It was beautiful in its alien way, all curves and flowing lines. Whoever built it had different aesthetic values than humans, but the craftsmanship was evident. "Prepare a boarding team," she ordered. "Full environmental suits. First contact protocols. We're going to help these people if we can." The human ship moved carefully alongside the silent alien vessel. In the depths of space, 2 species were about to meet. One slept in desperation, the other approached with hope. The universe was about to become a little smaller and infinitely more interesting. Sarah stood watching the docking procedure, unaware that she was about to make history. The Corthany had gambled on an impossible rescue. Against when strangers become saviors, Captain Sarah Chen led the boarding team through the Stellar Dawn's darkened corridors. Their helmet lights swept across walls covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift in the shadows. The alien architecture was both beautiful and unsettling, with doorways that curved organically and surfaces that appeared to flow like frozen water. "Atmosphere is thin but present," reported Dr. Elena Vasquez, the team's medical specialist. Definitely not breathable for humans. Keep your suits sealed. The team of 6 moved carefully through the ship, following life sign readings toward what appeared to be a medical bay. Chief Engineer Robert Kumar paused frequently, scanning the alien technology with obvious fascination. "This is incredible," Kumar whispered. "Their power distribution system uses principles we've only theorized about. The efficiency must be extraordinary when it's functioning properly." "Focus, Kumar," Sarah reminded gently. "We can study their tech after we save their crew." They found the stasis pods in a large chamber that might have been beautiful when fully powered. Now, in the emergency lighting, it felt haunting. 23 pods stood in neat rows, each glowing with a faint inner light. Dr. Vasquez immediately began scanning the nearest pod. Through the frosted surface, they could see an alien unlike anything in their databases. The being had 4 arms and skin that seemed to be made of living crystal, currently a dull amber color. "Fascinating," Vasquez breathed. "Their biology is silicon-based, just as Commander Torres suspected. These stasis pods are incredibly sophisticated. They're not just freezing the occupants, they're maintaining some kind of quantum state." "Can we wake them safely?" Sarah asked. Kumar was already interfacing his equipment with the pod's control panel. "Their mathematical system is elegant. It's based on prime number sequences. Given time, I think I can decode their wake-up protocols." "How much time do they have?" Sarah inquired, noting the weakening power signatures. "Not long," Kumar admitted. "These pods are drawing the last dregs of power. Maybe days, possibly hours." Sarah made the decision quickly. "Do what you can here. Dr. Vasquez, prepare our medical bay for silicon-based life forms. Lieutenant Park, I need you to establish a communication protocol. When they wake, we need to talk to them." The team worked with focused efficiency. Kumar and his assistant delved into the alien computer systems, while Vasquez gathered biological data. Within hours, they had made remarkable progress. "Captain," Kumar called excitedly, "I found their ship's logs. The translation is rough, but it seems they suffered a quantum drive failure. They've been drifting for months." Sarah read the translated logs, her heart going out to these stranded beings. The final entry from Captain Vela was particularly moving. "The universal desire to survive, to hope against hope, transcended species barriers. I've cracked the wake-up sequence," Kumar announced. "Should we start with their captain?" "Yes," Sarah agreed. "But slowly. We don't know how they'll react to us." The pod containing Captain Vela began its wake cycle. The crystal surface cleared gradually, revealing the alien within. As consciousness returned, Vela's 4 eyes opened, focusing with difficulty on the helmeted figures surrounding her pod. Sarah stepped forward, moving slowly and keeping her hands visible. She had removed her helmet in the thin atmosphere, showing her face despite the discomfort. First contact protocols emphasized the importance of appearing non-threatening. Vela tried to speak, but no sound came. Dr. Vasquez offered a container of liquid that their scans suggested would be safe. The alien captain drank carefully, her eyes never leaving the humans. "We, friends," Sarah said, speaking slowly and using simple concepts. She pointed to herself. "Human, we help." Vela's skin began to show patterns of color, surprise, confusion, and then understanding. She pointed to herself with one of her 4 arms. "Kortheni," she managed, her voice like wind chimes. Over the next hours, they established basic communication. The Kortheni were natural linguists, their minds adapted to pattern recognition. Lieutenant Park worked with Vela to build a translation matrix, starting with mathematical concepts and expanding to more complex ideas. As understanding grew, so did trust. Vela learned that her desperate gamble had paid off. The humans had heard their distress call and come to help. Sarah learned about the Kortheni's plight and their remarkable decision to trust in the kindness of strangers. "We must wake my crew," Vela said once communication was established. "They need to know we are safe." One by one, The Corthany awakened to find their rescuers waiting. Each reaction was different. Some showed fear initially, others curiosity. Young Zarek, who had doubted they would be found, wept openly at the sight of the humans. Dr. Nexon was particularly interested in human biology. "You are carbon-based," he observed with wonder. "We theorized such life might exist, but to see it," his skin sparkled with academic excitement. The rescue operation was complex. The Corthany couldn't simply transfer to the human ship. The environments were too different. Instead, the humans worked to repair the Stellar Dawn enough to tow it to safety. "Your technology is remarkable," Kumar told Corvus as they worked together. "This quantum drive design could revolutionize space travel." Corvus's skin patterns showed pleasure at the compliment. "And your problem-solving approach is unlike anything I've seen. You think laterally. Where we see impossibility, you see opportunity." Days passed as human and Corthany worked side by side. Cultural exchange happened naturally. The humans learned that Corthany communicated as much through color patterns as through sound. The Corthany discovered human humor and were fascinated by human music. "Your species emphasizes individuality," Vila observed during a shared meal, carefully prepared to accommodate both biologies. "Yet you work together seamlessly. It's paradoxical." Sarah smiled. "We're at our best when we're helping others. It brings out something fundamental in us." The Corthany were moved by human compassion. When Dr. Vasquez spent sleepless nights ensuring their medical needs were met, when Kumar jury-rigged solutions using parts from the human ship, when the entire human crew treated them not as aliens but as friends in need, it challenged everything they thought they knew about the universe. "Why?" Thessa asked Sarah one evening. "Why risk your ship, your crew, for strangers?" Sarah thought carefully about her answer. "Because once, we were alone in the dark too. We know what it feels like to look at the stars and wonder if anyone else is out there. Now that we found others, how could we not help?" The repair work progressed steadily. Human ingenuity combined with Corthany knowledge created solutions neither species could have achieved alone. The Stellar Dawn's conventional engines were restored, reinforced with human technology. During quiet moments, the two species shared stories. The humans told of Earth, of their first stumbling steps into space, of the wonder and fear of exploration. The Corthany spoke of their crystalline cities, of their psychic networks, of their drive to understand the universe. "We are proof," Dr. Nexon said during one such exchange, "that life finds infinite ways to exist. Carbon and silicon, separate evolutionary paths, yet here we sit as friends." As the rescue neared completion, both crews felt the bittersweetness of impending separation. Bonds had formed that transcended species differences. "You must visit Corthan," Vela insisted. "Our people will want to thank you properly. And think what our scientists could accomplish together." Plans were made for future contact. Communication protocols were established. Star charts exchanged. What had begun as a desperate rescue had become the foundation of an interstellar friendship. On the day of departure, the two crews gathered for farewell ceremonies. Gifts were exchanged. The humans offered music and literature. The Corthany shared their mathematical poetry and crystalline art. "You saved more than our lives," Vela told Sarah. "You saved our faith in the universe. We put out a call into the dark, and you answered." That act of compassion will resonate through Corthany culture for generations. Sarah clasped Vela's 4 hands with her two. "You gave us something precious too. The reminder of why we explore. Not for resources or territory, but for moments like this, when strangers become family." The Stellar Dawn, now repaired and escorted by the Pioneer's Hope, began its journey toward Corthany space. Both ships' logs would record this as a successful first contact, but the crews knew it was more. It was proof that in the vast darkness of space, compassion could bridge any gap. As the ships traveled together through the stars, the universe felt a little warmer, a little brighter. Two species had found each other, and in doing so, had found the best parts of themselves. The rescue of the Stellar Dawn would be remembered not for its technical achievements, though they were considerable. It would be remembered for something far more important: the day humanity proved that kindness knows no borders, and the Kortheni learned that hope, even the most desperate hope, sometimes finds an answer among the stars.